I'm Ray.
Hi, I'm Mia.
Hi, I'm Annie.
And welcome to Pizza with Friends. Where are we going?
Biology.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's got our pizzas. Where are we headed to, girls?
Anigua.
Yeah, Pizza with Friends, day 12. Amazing quote to see on our way to help our friends. So we just dropped off one of the pizzas. What'd you girls think about that?
He was really kind.
Yeah?
Yeah. He seemed like a really nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's just unfortunately one of the many vets that are just trying their hardest to, get through the day and find the help from whatever veteran organization is out there that can help them.
Yeah. So here we are with our friends. Looking for some more friends with pizza. So we just dropped off our last pizza to one of our friends. Ladies, what did you think about that experience?
I think it's always like a beautiful thing when people acknowledge like the meant to be factor in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we were talking to our friend, he kept saying, I prayed last night for God to give me someone that I could talk to. And then of all the places that we tried to hit up today, there was none of our friends were around. So when we came here, there was someone here that needed to talk about, why he became homeless, his story.
I think a lot of us, we have a story inside us that no one asks us about. And I think especially with homeless is that a lot of us shy away, or we don't acknowledge that everyone that's here has a story that they need to share, and we can't just pretend that Guam doesn't have a problem and that groups of people don't exist.
Yeah.
Right? And I love that he shared so much of his story with us, and God bless him for feeling comfortable sharing with us.
We're right near the Fest Pack huts,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just like, oh, like the loop, don't tell me you don't pass this loop. So it's just a reminder, like, we pass by these people and their stories like all the time, every day, and we don't make the time to get to hear them out.
Yeah.
And he said this one thing that really reminded me of something I saw on Twitter, actually. And he was talking about, he's like, yes, I smoke cigarettes, but I use whatever leftover I have after I buy all my essentials, all my food, and hygiene and clothes if I need it, and then I'll buy cigarettes. And there was this thing on Twitter that I remember seeing that, people use, like, all of us use cigarettes or alcohol to get through our day when it's tough. So why are we judging homeless people if they're trying to do the same? If they're having the roughest day too, like, why are we judging them for doing the same things that we're doing?
Yeah.
I like how he said, like, don't just drop pizza to homeless people.
Yeah.
Because that's not what, I mean, it's something that they appreciate, but maybe that's not what they really want, The thing that they want more is the conversation.
Yeah. That human interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Pretty-
pizza with friends.
Yeah, pizza with friends.
Don't just
Not
drop
just pizza.
don't just drop off pizza. Try to talk and make friends.
Yeah.
'Cause,
You don't know how you could help another individual just by having a kind heart and sharing a conversation.
I think at the end of the day, when we really look back at everything, some of the things we value the most is connecting with others.
Yeah. Hey everybody, Pizza with Friends, day 12. We tried. So today we had an amazing experience. We went, got our pizza, and then we headed to check out the Anigua area. We found one of our friends staying at a bus stop. And then after that, we drove around looking for other spots, but for some reason we were striking out and couldn't find anybody, none of our friends. But then we went to Paseo and met another friend and his friends that were with them and shared an interesting conversation with them. What did you ladies think about today?
There's a lot going through my mind. I think my initial thoughts going into this was like, what is this project about, and who is this man that I'm going to be in a car with? But I thought it was a very humble, wholesome, humbling, wholesome experience. I think what you're doing is really kind, and With our first friend, I guess I found myself like wishing we had more of a conversation because I think I wanted to know his story a little more. And then with our second friend, I was very not surprised, but just like I guess grateful for how vulnerable and open he was with us. And he pulled. We were underneath the Paseo, the Fezback huts, and he noticed that Andy's head was like touching the roof of like underneath the hut, and he was like, "Why don't we bring you guys like outside? We can like have a real conversation, have a real talk." So that was really nice that he did that.
Well, before we started all of this, I was on the phone with Mia and she was asking me, "Are you going?" And I said, "Well, I feel somehow uncomfortable, so I feel like because I feel uncomfortable, I should be doing this." Right? Because there's a lot of situations and things that we should be doing or things that we want to do, but there's hesitation to it. And I think getting out of our comfort zone and saying, you know what, this is not about how I feel. This isn't about me. It's about helping someone else out and forgetting how I feel and just going out there and doing the work, right?
Yeah.
Just going out there, meeting people. That's what I came here for. And yeah, we met a couple friends today, and it was a really great experience, especially the conversation we had at the end of the day, because I wasn't expecting that kind of quick openness and honesty, right? It's called Pizza and Friends, right? So I just think the way I thought of it was when we started was like, oh, okay, so we're the friends, right? And we're the friends coming with you to deliver pizza. But then, when you really rework it and think about it, it's about bringing pizzas and making new friends. And at the end of the day, I was really glad that he shared so much with us, because it really felt like, openness and honesty and just being comfortable with each other. That's what friendship is. And like I was saying before, at the end of the day, one of the things we really want out of life really is just to connect with others.
So when you were saying like connection, that's like something that we're really after. I guess what stuck out to me was just like the fact that everything that we've done has brought us to this very moment. And our last friend that we spoke with, he talked about how he had been praying for a conversation that we had, how he had been praying for someone to come around that he could just talk to, and so that like the fact that we showed up and like you said, like we kind of struck out in different areas and just so happened to like find him. He was so like warm and kind and funny. You forget like these people have personalities and stories, and like they're a part of our island, so it was really nice to connect with him in that way. Then to also recognize everything that brought us to that moment, like he was saying, like you two were meant to meet Ray, and through Ray, like there's CJ and like so many people that just go back, and you can just connect all these people who love and care about these type of community outreach things. So it was nice because like pizza with friends, like yes, it is something that is also like just between us, like like spreading it, and then also it just gets bigger.
Yep. More friends we bring on the show, the more people who see it, share it, and just spread that that knowledge, that that stigma that we have of that homeless individual who's not what you would think. He's just a human being just like everybody else, and he has a story, he has a life, and it's us to get out of our comfort zone and be a part of their life and be a part of their story as well.
So like talking about stories and conversations, I think, well, yeah, maybe because I'm in my master's, I'm working to be in the field of mental health and all of that. One of the big things I always think about is a lot of people just want to be heard, right? Sometimes you don't need do anything or give so much of yourself. Some people just want someone to listen to them and hear their story, and that's what our friend was talking about. He was saying, I prayed that God would send someone to listen to me, like, so I could share my story. And it's a sad thing that there's so many stories out there that we don't hear, and maybe we might never hear, because on Guam we have, you know, our homeless crisis is it's a big issue, but in the same kind of thought, it's kind of our invisible issue. And not because it's just it's our invisible issue, because we don't want to see it and we don't want to hear about it. And that is something that a lot of people on Guam do, is ignore our friends, ignore the people on Guam that have these stories, but just because they're living outside, we think they're lower than us, or we think that just because they're living outside, they're living differently. We ignore who they are as just people.
And we also like assume like why they came to be where they are now. So something that our friend at Paseo was talking about was just like how his circumstances and how it dealt with like family miscommunication, arguments that like, you know, just weren't resolved, and then like he saw his family again, and there was sort of that tension there, that misunderstanding that still remained. And that was hard to hear, just because like growing up, family is such like a core value that you always ground yourself in, especially in Guam. And so I think there is a problem with like family resolution, and that was the part, right, I guess, like of his story that kind of struck me, because I can't imagine. But I also, it like having experienced like these conversations like these, it makes me question, like, you know, I guess how it's gonna be like when my siblings and I grow up, the problems that we may face, and what sort of circumstances like bring families to these types of situations. I mean, you really can't judge, like you just I don't know. Because it's rough.
Because I've heard like the whole conversation where people are saying, you know, they should just stay with a family member, they should get a job, they should do this or that, but we forget that, you know, it's not so simple and it's not so easy. Like with our friend at Paseo, like he couldn't turn to his family, right? And for us, family is everything, and when family, or for me, like if I'm struggling, my family would be there, but I know that I'm kind of blessed and privileged to have a family that will always have my back no matter what, and that's not the case for so many people, right? So it's not because they don't want to live with their family or they don't want to get a job. A lot of people just don't have the same means that all of us have.
I was surprised to see like the amount of spots that you were so aware of that I wasn't. I mean, you know, you just drive over these like bridges and around these loops and like over these roads. But I guess you don't really, I just don't really think about this survival aspect of it all, and like the practicality of choosing, like, you know, where to stay lodged up, or even, I don't know, like the people you surround yourself with. It was interesting to see like that group at Paseo, and their sign that they had up. It said like respect our home or get out. And he was talking about like, you know, just the people that come through there, if they don't respect it, then like he talked about fights happening. I just don't see that happening. I just felt so like what's it called?
You saw another side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw the good side, how they could come together as a community, even though it was so small, and then be there for one another.
Like they're taking care of each other.
Yeah. And they found comfort in being with each other. I think that's a powerful thing, just having that community, that sense of belonging and being, because some of them weren't even from that area we were at. They came to hang out with their friends for a little bit, which was good. one of the interesting things is, you know, we went to all of these places looking for friends, and some of those places we struck out, we didn't see anybody. But like, how did you feel about the conditions that these people were living in, especially like, you know, under the bridge, or like in some of the places we went to? And I know we saw, you know, in some of the sleeping areas, like there were rats running around, and you know that could cause a problem, you know. You know, for those individuals living in that area.
Honestly, I don't know if it's because of all like, so okay, the sociology class that we were involved in is very like community based. Like we're always looking for projects to do, and so when I saw their living conditions, I was just thinking of I guess how we can help. So I was trying to see things that they were using, like, you know, that they depended on, that are just kind of lying around in my house. You know, like I have like suitcases that like I probably don't need, but I could see like they were using that to hold everything that they need. They had like pallets that they were using to like, I guess, elevate them off the ground. And when I saw that, I was like, there's a bunch just lying outside of public health. You know, like, I guess in my mind was just connecting like, what do they need that I have and I don't need. So yeah, that was what I was thinking of. But it was rough to see like the rats and the flies, and he kept like slapping his legs with, you know, because the mosquitoes, and I struggle with mosquitoes. So I was just like, man, like I could not hack it. And I started thinking like I could give them off spray, or like, you know, just I guess things,
mosquito coil,
just stuff to like help them get through it. Stuff other than like just money, because I feel like maybe if I give them osprey, they'll think, oh, like they're like, I don't know, there's more like empathy there, because I can sort of guess like what they need,
and what they're going through.
The last place we went, when I saw the rats kind of going along where they were living, I kind of got a flashback to when I was younger. I used to live in kind of like the swamps of Mongmong, and I don't know, something about the swamps of Mongmong, those rats are mutants, man. Like they're generational rats, I don't know. But I got reminded of when I used to live down with my grandpa at the swamps, and you know, having rats where you live is kind of a big deal. It's like a health hazard. They eat your food, they tear up the things you have, and when I was, you know, in the swamp living in that kind of condition, it didn't matter much to me because I had the means to get more food. I could replace something, but when I saw it, I was like, man, if they tear something up, that's more of a big deal than when I was younger, because that might be the only thing they had. Right? And even under the bridge, when I saw that, I kind of had the same mindset as Mia. I was just like, oh man, you know what? I have this at home. I could just bring it. Or it's like, what is it we can do down here? Because I didn't know, like, all the times I passed by that road, I had no idea someone was living there until you brought us there. And even though we didn't see anyone under there, you could tell that someone was there. You could see, like, their couch and some of their stuff, and you could tell that people were living there. And it was a reminder that, like I was saying, this is kind of an invisible problem because we don't see it. We don't want to see it. And it's not like I didn't know that there were homeless in the area. I guess I just didn't think too deeply of it, right? Like, maybe I should have known that there was someone living under there, right? Maybe there's someone living in places I pass by all the time and I just never see it or never acknowledge it.
Even just like the value in like something small. I remember our friend at Paseo, a penny is a heart. And coins, they take you somewhere, or like they mean something. So I love that because I'm such a penny saver. And like if people drop coins and they don't want to pick it up, I'm like, okay, I will. Like, you know, so I liked that. I liked that he was saying a penny is a heart, because it's like, give what you can when you can. And if you can't, then have a conversation. You know?
Yeah.
That was nice. also, like our first friend at the bus stop, you were asking him like, do you need shampoo? Like, no, I have it. Do you need soap? I have it. He needed like a shirt, new pants, and his shoes. I thought he would ask for new shoes because to me they looked, like beaten up. But when you asked for new shoes, he was like, no, I don't need new shoes. And you even asked like, are you sure? And he was like, yes, I'm sure. And I was surprised because it's almost like he knows what he needs and he doesn't ask for more than that, which I thought was very, I guess, genuine of him.
Any final thoughts? Your genuine self, everything that's happened today. If you would give a message out to everybody out in the internet world about our situation, what would you tell them to kind of help inspire them to, be open-minded when it comes to, people in struggle and the less fortunate?
I think I would say that not everything you do has to be an event, right? So we did this and it's a whole video and it's like a whole part of your series, but doesn't mean that we're never going to do anything else like this, and doesn't mean that we have to film it, doesn't mean it has to be a big thing, right? Maybe we're eating and I just decide, let me just order something extra. There's some guy outside, let me just like give him some lunch too, right? Not everything you do has to be this grand gesture. It's whatever you can do helps, right? Like the guy said, even a penny is a heart.
I think I would say to be open to connection, not only to other people that are out there, or even like other people that inspire you to be better, but also to yourself, and to really ask yourself like how you relate to the people that are in need, the people that you're helping, because when you do that, there's this connection that you just can't forget. And like when you try to see yourself in other people or other people in you, it just like forms, I don't know, you just want to help more. There's like share stories, be connected, surround yourself with people who are into this type of stuff, and get people who aren't into this type of stuff into it.
Yeah.
Break that barrier.
Yeah. We have a word for that in social work. It's called creating change agents. And so by sharing this with you, you'll share it with other people, and other people will share it too, and it just causes a cycle, kind of like the pay it forward. Yeah. I think one big thing that I'd like to share, just to tab you off of what everybody said, is, share the love. Compassion goes a long way. So give us a heart. You could give us a like over here. You could subscribe and hit the bell. And ladies, thank you so much for being a part of this. Pizza with Friends.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Us.
Yeah.
Biology sponsors now.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for?
That's a lot of work. Okay, so thank you, ladies. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, Annie, for being a part of this. So, till next time, Pizza with Friends, Day 12. See you later.